Alrighty. Good morning, everyone. I lost my train of thought already. Oof. Rough start. Welcome back to those joining us. This is 2064 Read-Only Memories. This project is running through my entire Steam library in alphabetical order as much as I can. I think maybe tomorrow... I don't want to say that because stuff might get interesting and I might want to keep playing 2064, but I figure I'm gonna just play through my games alphabetically and try to get to the end of them. I don't know how reasonable that's gonna be, because I'm sure some of them are extremely long, and a lot of them probably are not actually going to be for me, despite the fact that I apparently own them, but I don't know where half of my games came from, so that's exciting. But I figure I'll get through them. If there are story games, I'll try and get through to the end of them. And I might, you know, skip forward or skip back, depending. But for now, we're going to keep playing through Read-Only Memories. Last time, so the whole start to this was, our old friend Hayden, who we haven't seen in a year, was kidnapped and went missing, and his child robot, AI, what's the word for prototype AI? Prototype AI. Turing, came to our apartment and found us, to get our help. And we agreed because why not? So now we are looking after the small child and trying to find our friend Hayden. Let's see. Someone broke into Hayden's apartment. We went to check out Hayden's apartment. It was fine. We went back. It was broken up all to hell. Like there was graffiti everywhere. We got attacked, got sent to the hospital. Met a guy there who I find kind of sketchy, but I don't know how sketchy he is quite yet. Let's see. From there, we went back to a bar to get in touch with our hacker contact, Tomcat. We were trying to find the data cache. I'm saying this all out of order. I'm so sorry. This is just... Okay, you know what? Recap. We're trying to find our friend Hayden. He's missing. We're trying to get information and stuff to figure out where to go. Currently, we're going to go trying to break into the big corporation he works for, Parallax's Systems, to see what they know. So I think we're going to go to a seedy place of town. No, we're going to Parallax itself. We managed to convince someone who hated us to have them help us out finding Hayden, which was nice. I still find Jess tiring, but you know what? We're gonna try and be nice to her at every opportunity. So that's what I think we're gonna go do now. I wonder if I can... Can I go to my... Where am I? There we go. Yes, so we'll be going to Dogpatch, but I'm gonna see if I can I can go back to my apartment. Oh, I can just go back to my apartment. I'm gonna talk to my plant. Didn't mean to give you a drinking problem. Glad to see you're healthier.
I think Wilty will survive just yet.
Hooray! Yeah, Turing already told us... I'm sorry, I'm trying to light a candle here. Turing gave us the spiel that talking to plants can make them thrive. So Wilty, the plant that we were, killing by overwatering, was dying. So I want to go talk to it and make sure Wilty gets healthy. That's about all I have in my apartment, right? Yeah. And I feel like I cheated a little bit on that because... Actually, can I go talk to Lexi? Maybe I can apologize for going behind her back. I was looking at a list of achievements, and one of them was about, Wilty might die if you don't keep talking to it. I was like, oh shit, my plan!
Welcome to the Neo San Francisco Richmond District Police Station, citizen.
Gianna.
How may I be of assistance today?
I'm looking for Detective Lexi Rivers. Tell her it's
Please give me
Gianna.
a few moments to get in contact with Detective Rivers.
Yo.
Thank you for your patience, citizen.
Oh, I have no idea why I'm...
Detective Rivers will be here shortly to speak to you. Please have a seat.
I mostly just kind of want to check in on people.
Hey again. What can I do for the two of you? You know, since I don't have anything else on my plate in a major city full of crime in the middle of a culture war.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to come say hi. I was just checking in to see if you need anything.
Mostly, I just need a break in the case, or a way to even start it. Something I can use instead of the fly-by-night spy crap you're probably digging up. But screw it, you might as well work it from both angles. Just teasing.
How's the investigation going?
Ha! It's not going much of anywhere. I can't even start an official investigation, so my options are limited here. I've been reviewing traffic cam footage for hours, just trying to get a glimpse of whoever assaulted Hayden. My superiors aren't out and out grounding me, so there's that, but they still aren't giving me any more resources to work with. That means no extra manpower, no special tech support, nada. I'm assuming it's their way of appeasing the corporate overlords without actually being a bunch of corrupt pigs, but hey, I like a challenge. Just me in the streets is what I'm used to anyway. Plus, now I have you two.
Yay!
We are happy to assist in any way possible, Detective Rivers. We are both at your command.
I think Turing is trying to pretend to not be an AI.
How about you try not to get shot at, for starters?
I would appreciate not being
Your
shot
track
at.
record isn't great on that one so far.
Yep, I have nothing to do.
Right.
Yes, Lexi was dating our sister. My sister. Our sister? I don't know. I have no idea how that went. I don't even know my own sister's name. I haven't been home in years. But yeah, there's times where I'm like, were you really dating the right sister, Lexi? No, that'd be terrible. I just figured we should catch up.
I'd berate you for wasting my time, but frankly, I needed a break anyway.
Yay!
Other than being overworked and underpaid, I'm doing just fine. It's been a while since we've just hung out, so what do you want to know?
Why did you transfer to the Neo SFPD?
Ah, hell. It was a lot of reasons. I don't know if you remember that incident back home, the hybrid ex-Marine that was murdering people.
Ooh.
Well, I couldn't tell you back then, but that was my case.
Ooh.
I kinda threw myself into it too hard. Made it too personal. Broke too many rules. The chief had my back, but I felt I'd burned too many bridges. It's a small city, and once the rumor mill got going...
Okay. Listen. Yeah, that's fair. The pixel art is, I think, very charming. It's definitely very... quaint, except quaint is not the word I'm looking for. It's definitely very retro. Retro, I think, is what I'm looking for. Like, I've seen games that have, like, really phenomenal artistic pixel art, and I'm not saying that this is bad, I'm just saying it's much more... It feels like a deliberate style choice, but it does end up with some very wonky things, like what exactly is happening with Lexi's hair in her portrait, and then when you see the sprite, like, here, it looks like she's wearing this really weird-ass helmet. Yeah, it's terrific.
Well, I was afraid I'd either be made out to be a hero or a villain, and I didn't really want to be either.
I'm gonna mute my microphone for a second so I can blow my nose.
Never mind the fact that people already didn't like me too much because of my implants. Some people really buy into that eyes are the window to the soul thing.
The eyes are the computer screens to the soul.
So I figured I'd move to the big city, where the big crimes are, right? Lose myself in the hustle and bustle. Turns out I'm still a bit too much of a cowboy for the NSFPD, but I don't regret the move.
Yay.
Most of the time.
Oh. Have you been seeing anyone since my sister?
Nah, not really. I'm real busy, you know? Running around, chasing bad guys.
Uh-oh.
This isn't a pulp novel. The detective doesn't always get the girl in real life, you know?
Aww.
I'd rather focus on my work.
Sure you would.
You ever talk to your sister, by the way?
You should call her.
Yeah? Yeah, maybe I should. Well, thanks for
Oh,
keeping
nothing else,
tabs on
just
me.
checking in. I think I'm trying to set her back up
We'll
with my
have to sit
sister.
down for coffee after this is all over.
Yeah, it's great. The lesbian longing. Thanks for talking to me, Lexi.
You be sure to come back if you find something I can use.
Yup. I do appreciate that the game is like, you need to rush through, like, you need to get there quickly, and I'm just like, but hear me out. What if I wander around random places and talk to people? And the game is just like, yeah, that sounds fine. 12:21. Dog patch. Oh, it's nighttime now.
This is the place Tomcat said we should head to.
Oh, that is a hell of a graffiti piece.
Unassuming and quiet. I'll be honest, I don't think I would be in this section of the city without Jess giving us the all clear. The crime statistics are quite alarming, so let us get done with our errand here and move on to safer ground.
Yay. Don't be worried about getting work. Let's hope she... No, I trust Jess. Well, that feels mean. Good to see your self-preservation routines working overtime. None of these options seem particularly helpful, I guess. Don't be worried about getting mugged. We don't have anything.
I can't help it. Stealing a ROM is considered petty theft, and I'd really rather not be taken by some miscreants out to pawn me for a minor amount of credits.
Alright, this is the part of the game where it's like, it would be really helpful if I could, like, customize and control my character walking around, because then I just get a big oversized jacket and, like, tuck Turing into the front of it, so that they could just peek out over the top. It'd be great. Turing's a good child.
Our hypothetical kidnapper wouldn't even be punished worse than a slap on the wrist if it were a first offense.
Didn't you say you could rip my arm off? I think you can handle yourself, you're good.
Though, I suppose I shouldn't get too worked up about the legal system not accounting for machine sapience. I am the first.
You are indeed, dear.
That I know of, anyway.
Oh, that's right. You have a sister. Gotta keep the generator cool or else, you know, it'll break. Can I touch it? This fan needs no service. Oh! Wasn't even gonna, like, smack my fingers. Beautiful turbo generator out here just generating energy. Wonder what's using all the extra power. Touch. Turbo generators are really solidly built and not easy to get into without smashing them apart. Look at the pipe. This pipe is doing what all good pipes should do. It's piping out that energy. You can't pull it off the generator no matter how hard you try. I like how this game is just basically like, yeah, will you please stop fucking with the generator and move on to something more important? Standard plastic bag level litter. Okay, can I pick it up? Even if you wanted to pick it up, it's practically scum welded to the street. Oh, what a word, scum welded. Street art.
You know, right after we found Hayden's apartment in such disarray, I started looking into graffiti and street art more thoroughly.
What did you find, sweet baby child?
I have never much considered doing any of it myself, but it seems like an interesting avenue to pursue once I move beyond abstract expressionism.
Fair enough.
The simpler tags, visual shoutings of identity and existence. They exhibit a feeling I can sympathize with, but it's these larger pieces, riots of color and chaos, that really interest me. Petty vandalism is beneath me, but there are other avenues for the practice.
I swear to God, we're gonna get Hayden back, and I'm gonna become, like, the surrogate parent for Turing. And, like, you know, Hayden's gonna be, like, the scientific dad who's just like, oh, we have to do all these tests, and I'm just like, yeah, fuck it, let's try baking for a day, see how that goes. And then I send things back to Hayden, he's just like, how are you getting all this data? And I'm like, I'm training the child like a curious child, you fucker. Be good to our child. Yeah. Well, they already do paintings. They followed Bob Ross, and I'm sure I can get some spray cans and just let them paint over my walls. It can't make them any worse at this point. What's the landlord going to do? Other than probably assault me. It'll be fine. Good morning, Cactus.
For example, did you know that Los Angeles in the mid-2030s legalized the tagging of mural-style street art on any building without requiring permission from the owner or city?
Oh, that's nice.
It was chaos of the highest degree for a while, but now the place is truly remarkable.
Fair enough.
Perhaps I will visit once this is all done with.
That graffiti is actually the symbol of gonzo journalism, and oh, I'm very interested. Yeah, sure. I'm not gonna be a dick to anybody, that's just mean.
Ah, I hadn't even noticed. Do you have much experience with gonzo journalism yourself, reporting after or during direct participation? If you do end up writing on this experience, whatever you produce would be the very definition of it. You're too close to be objective now, and you're a key subject in this event. It doesn't seem to be your usual style, but you couldn't go another route at this point, and you're in the clear as you didn't instigate the situation. I've never had much interest in the practice, but spending so much time around you has taught me to look at events in a different light, perhaps only because I can verify your personal experiences as fact. Sorry, I'm rambling again, aren't I? And we're on a schedule. I don't even want to think about this. What if we don't find Hayden?
Then I will adopt you.
What if we do?
I will still adopt you.
My memory processors are shot from the stress of the past day. It's already taken a toll on me. But never mind. Let's find that access node.
Turing, you can talk to me. It's okay to have feelings and
find Hayden.
emotions. Let's door to access node. Apartment door.
This is the door to an apartment building. It's not the access node.
Thank you, Turing. I don't think there's anything else to click on.
This is the door to the access node that Tomcat told us about. We need to use the buzzer to get inside.
Yeah.
Parallax Walk, AN-19 security.
Hello?
Yes, can I help you?
Okay. This is Parallax Technician 32-9B, here for routine inspection. 23-12-49-10. We're, friends of Jess? Jeez. I feel like Parallax Technician would be kind of funny, but probably a lie that they would see through instantaneously. Let's try with we're friends of Jess. Well, no, because then that might get the guy in trouble if he's not the guy we're waiting for. I don't know what the 23-12-49-10 is. I have no idea. I never watched any of Lost. We're friends of Jess.
I was wondering when you'd get there.
Hey.
You're at the access node on Cesar Chavez in Indiana, right?
Yeah?
That's right.
Good. Be quick. Don't touch anything. Got it? This conversation never happened, and you're on your own if you get caught out there.
I definitely am.
I hope you find what you're looking for.
This is it. Let's go inside, and I'll call Tomcat. This place doesn't look like it's had any maintenance in years. I hope the systems are still functional. Oh, I forgot you can't see in darkness. Maybe that switch over there adjusts the lighting.
Looks like the light switch for the room. Oh, okay.
Oh, Tomcat is pinging us, forwarding video and audio.
Howdy! Y'all at the access node? I'm
Yeah.
set to slice in once Turn makes physical access.
Of course, Tomcat. Just walk me through how to connect myself, and I'll give you the necessary system permissions to use me as an interface.
I will look around the room and
Patch
twiddle
yourself
my
into the Lynx
thumbs.
terminal down there, and I should be able to get started.
Connecting wirelessly to it now. Permissions granted. Please be careful in there.
Don't worry, doll. I'm an old hand at this. You won't notice a thing. 1 sec. Oh, shoot. y'all have a bit more to do before I can get the info we need.
Minigame time!
The system's still running on old cassettes, and the recall slot is empty. Can't
What?
pull up Hayden's info file without it.
Cassettes?
There should be a cassette on the opposite side of the wall we can overwrite with the recall program. Pretty sure all that one was used for was phone monitoring. You know, from back when phone networks were separate from data networks.
Yes?
I swear, y'all, I just turned 22. Anyways, we need to move that cassette across the room to access the records.
What? What is
Figure
the
out how to do
cassette?
that and hit me back up when you've done it.
I don't know what the cassettes are. Tangled wires. Ow, what noise was that? Dirty tangled wires lay on the floor. Where are the standards? It's a corporation, whatever's cheapest. This terminal should give you access to some of the node's systems. Cassette row. Modern versions of cassettes like these are 1/10 the size. Still, even these antiques hold exabytes of information. Good lord. A robotic arm used to move data cassettes around the node.
Loose wires, be careful!
So, fun story about hanging wires. What's this? This must be the cassette Tomcat was talking about. When I worked mail sorting, the machine that I typically run, so when you send the mail through and a series of belts takes it around and feeds it into different bins to sort them, and the bins have really basic like computer boards to tell things like, oh, this bin is jammed, or this bin is getting too full and the machine needs to stop. So all of the bins had all of these wires that connected them, and the wires just kind of hung down under the bins, and they were kind of like taped up and strapped to try and keep them out of the way of the mail, but a lot of them weren't out of the way of the mail if it was too tall, and so it was just this constant nightmare of trying to keep, and sometimes they just had like motherboards hanging out under the bins in danger of being hit by the mail, and I was just like, this just racks me with anxiety every single day. I hate this so much. So just, you can't even reach it, but maybe there's some other way to move this thing. What's this? A list of things to check to make sure that everything is running okay. Warning label. The sign warns that this area contains high voltage. Ooh. Utility arm guide.
According to this poster, the data cassettes can only be moved by using the links panel to control the utility arm.
Links panel? I assume that's the terminal? Oh, display screens? No. Random graphs and diagnostics being tracked. Logging into link server z77.gamma. Welcome to Links. Operate data transfer arm. Okay. Retract arm. Turn arm. Move arm left. Extend arm. Retract arm? Okay. Turn arm. Wow. Move arm right. Extend arm.
Nice job.
I love the little like switch click and snap. It's great.
I'm gonna put some more pressure on them to move the data now, and we'll see if we can't slurp it right out of this network trunk.
Slurp, slurp, slurp.
You would have thought that someone would have noticed and decommissioned this access node when the neighborhood went to hell, but this mouse is happy to play while the cat is away.
Let's see. Why is this place usable for us anyway?
Way back when I was a youngin', when I first hacked into Parallax's network, I mostly did it to make a point, yeah?
Just Sure.
They were just about to launch the MeshNet system, and I wanted to show the whole darned world that their security had more holes in it than Swiss cheese.
Fair enough.
Of course, I wasn't too shy about poking in a few more holes of my own devising while I was there.
Right, secret holes that you can come back to.
After putting in some more tricky software backdoors, I went ahead and deleted this access node off the maintenance schedule.
Oh gosh.
Then I reassigned the guy who was supposed to keep an eye on it to a different location. They were in the process of buying up a whole gaggle of these nodes in preparation to set up a private network for themselves. All just to use for the MeshNet launch. Maybe a little too confident of them.
Has this just been sitting here for years then, with no one really checking on it?
Most of the software holes have been patched out as they've upgraded their network, but this old place is just as forgotten as I left it.
Outstanding. Why would they move the data?
I've been targeting one of their data centers with a botnet-driven DDoS attack, hitting every port into its network that I can find.
Those are words. That made sense to me.
Ain't likely to do much, but toss in a few attempts to crack the firewall and their VIs are shitting bricks. It's standard procedure for them to move their sensitive data to a different data center in case the attacker actually gets in. Make enough noise and it'll scare them enough into taking some defensive action, which is where we want them. The files are more vulnerable in transit.
You know what? All of this is just washing straight over my head, and I feel like my character's just nodding along like, yep, I completely trust you to be completely right about this, because I have no idea. Let us know when you're done.
Now you'll just hold tight. I'll be done with this lickety-split.
Oh, the node noise has stopped.
Surveillance camera footage.
What? Oh, that's not a good face. I don't like that face.
Oh, God.
I don't like that.
Oh, Turin.
Ooh.
I'm so sorry.
Hayden's dead, isn't he?
What is it, Tomcat? What did you find?
He's gone, Turin.
Of course he's gone, Tomcat. That's why we're here.
Turing?
Shit. I mean, he's gone, Turin. Hayden is dead.
Well, that obviously isn't right, Tomcat. Why would they kill him? Can you send me the relevant files?
No, do not send the child the video of their parents' death, please.
You must have missed something.
I don't think you should see it, but if you're sure.
No, the child is not sure, Tomcat, please.
Had security cam footage from the hallway outside Hayden's apartment encrypted on their network. Just a short clip. It looks like Hayden started to struggle with a couple of big dudes when they broke through the door and one of them shot him. I also found some chatter about it on some darknet channels.
I need to sneeze, sorry.
It wasn't a kidnapping. Somebody went there to murder him. I'm so damn sorry.
Please let me hug the baby.
Thank you for your assistance in this matter, Tomcat. I think I'll walk back to the apartment. I need some time to run some calculations about this new scenario. You'll excuse me.
What? No, do not let the baby leave. Oh, jeez.
Should you follow them?
Yeah. No, please. Oh my god. I guess I'd need some time to myself too.
If you say so.
At least follow the child. Oh god. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep digging through this data until they kick me out of the system. I'll try to find some kind of lead on why this whole thing started in the first place. Maybe I can find something out about who killed Hayden and why Parallax has a copy of the footage.
Yep. Lack of choice hurts. Yeah, Yep.
It ain't much of a silver lining, but we have the answer on Hayden's fate.
I mean, that's something at least.
Maybe it's time to call it quits.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reasonable thing where it's like, oh, a corporation killed my old friend for unknown reasons. I guess I'll just leave it like that. It's like, yeah, I'm definitely not gonna go, like, firebomb their buildings now. Totally. I'll be fine.
Anyway, I'll talk to you later.
This game does not autosave, so please be sure to save frequently. Thank you! Chapter 3. Oh, 12. Okay, so it's the same day.
Oh, you're back.
Oh, we got an achievement. Tears and Rain. What do you want now? Who the fuck? I know that, okay, I did look through the achievements, and there is, for some fucking reason, there are achievements you can get, excuse me, where you end the game, and if you end the game with certain people, like, hating you, you get an achievement, and I'm just like, why would you do that? And it's like, I like being a completionist and getting all the achievements, but I do not want those achievements. Like, I want to sleep at night, thank you. How are you doing?
You know, Hayden was a brilliant programmer. Far ahead of his time.
He was basically your dad. Yeah, I don't want the biggest asshole. Like, there's multiple biggest asshole awards for, like, every major named character. You can either have you end the game with a good relationship with them, and you end the game with a shit relationship with them. So I have to be an asshole to every single one of these characters to get the biggest asshole award. Otherwise, I just get, like, you are a partial asshole award. And I do not want any of those awards. Thank you. I want, like, the nice person award.
I am a machine, and intrinsically, I do not have all the glands and visceral chemical reactions that make humans so emotional and brilliant.
Okay.
But his code is a flawless replication of that, inside my own personality algorithms.
I
don't think I've ever felt this anger. It fouls my processors and fills my RAM with frustrating, half-finished plans of revenge. My motherboard burns in my casing from how little I can rest.
Let me give the option of just being like, Turing, you are very human at this point, whatever that means. Like, even if they find that, like, oh, Turing isn't actually sentient, I'm just gonna be like, I'm sorry that you are so objectively wrong. Turing is a small, precious child.
I'm in pain.
Sorry.
And I can't make it go away.
Let me comfort the child.
I do not like the thoughts I'm having about the people who did this to him.
I'm not going to unplug the child. I'm going to direct the child to use their anger productively, I think. Can you turn them off?
I could. I can disable those modules,
But I don't want to make you.
but if I turn off every emotion I don't want to feel, what does that make me? Would I still be me? If I were human, turning off my emotions would be seen as extremely unhealthy.
Yes, it would.
There is a wealth of information on the MeshNet about human psychology. I just don't know how much of it applies to myself.
Let's go with a lot.
Either way, Hayden deserves my grief. It is my way of honoring him. It may be the only way I can. I offer it freely.
Let me hug the child.
Did you see the jade plant? It's doing well, despite the hardships it has gone through.
Hey, another achievement. Maybe it just needed a little love.
There is a lesson there. I don't know that I can listen to it right now, but I'll try. Will you keep helping me? I need you.
Like, Turing, you're basically my child at this point.
To find the bastards who killed my progenitor.
Okay, I was just gonna say, like, I'm gonna keep you as, like, my child, but yeah, okay, sure, I'll be Revenge Mom too.
I need to finish this. I don't know what I'll do afterwards, but I need to see this through.
Okay, so these aren't quite the options I was expecting, but I think they make sense, because it's like not like I can be an asshole and say, no, I'm not going to help you, because, I still have the whole rest of the game to do. But it's interesting that the choices are justice, revenge, and truth. I think those are philosophical, like, paths there. I don't know enough to, like, fully go down. Sorry, stretching. Like, I don't have enough, like, know-how to be like, oh, if we do justice, it'll be this, or if we do revenge, it'll be this, or truth, it'll be this. I just kind of have my knee-jerk reaction of truth, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, making them pay feels bad. Revenge is always kind of iffy. I feel like, yeah. Justice kind of implies not everything will be satisfied. Yeah, that's... Justice feels like the... Truth feels like you're bargaining for something you might not want in the end. Well, yeah, none of them are great options, but I do think it's... Justice feels very rigid in the sense of there is a way... Like, there's a black and white way that this should go. Like, they did this, therefore this. And... Maybe I've been reading too many stuff, but justice feels kind of skewed in some directions. Because you first have to define what justice is, and who gets to define it is a big deal. Because if you have... Person A kills Person B. If the people who side with A get to define justice... Yeah. The game's... this gives me Human Revolution vibes. Yeah, the game is very... interesting. It does feel like it's trying to tackle, some very complicated questions. And it's very story-driven, so it's getting a lot of space to do that. But justice feels very rigid, but also very unbalanced in some ways. Like, truth, justice, in the American way, whatever, but it's who gets to decide what justice looks like. And it's not very... It's not as fair as it purports to be. So we can say we want justice, but if we bring it to... that looks like we bring this to the authorities, but the authorities are on the side of Parallax and they decide what justice looks like, we don't actually get quote-unquote justice. And if justice should be determined by the victim, Hayden's not here and can't determine what he thinks the crime should be, or the justice punishment should be. And revenge is very personal, and I'm not always a huge fan of it because it's like, it feels a little like my revenge trumps other people's whatevers. Like, say I want to get revenge, so I'm putting that above all else, and I'm not paying attention to the wider scope of things where maybe this person did something bad, but they're still in charge of this thing that would help other people. Like, yes, maybe they killed Hayden, but maybe they're also in control of advancements in technology to help people who are hybrids. And if I just put my revenge above all of that, it's not really working towards the greater good. And it might not necessarily bring me the closure I think it will. Truth, I feel, is not as satisfying, but I think it gives a larger... I just said I wasn't going to do this and now I am. Anyway, truth gives you a larger view of the picture, I think. Is that what that is, I guess? It's like... Truth is trying to find all aspects of a situation to get more data to figure out what the least harmful option is. So truth might not be as satisfying, but I feel like it's more complete. So I think I will... And I mean, like, I'm not saying this like, oh, I'm so enlightened. Like, I absolutely, if someone hurt, like, or killed one of my close friends or family members, I absolutely would be like, oh, I'm getting a shotgun and killing them. I'm saying in the game, where I have time to stop and think about it, I would go with the option of, we'll find them in the truth. So that's what I'm going to choose here. And I'm going to cough really quick. Excuse me.
What does the truth mean anymore? What does it matter? Will finding the truth bring back Hayden? Will it fix the pain they've left me in?
Maybe not, but neither will... There's no guarantee that justice or revenge will either.
I guess you're right. Knowing the whys and wherefores will bring closure to this. I could use a measure of closure. I think for now we should keep knowledge of Hayden's death between you, Tomcat, and I.
That's fair.
It may give us an edge if the people we seek don't know how much we've already discovered. We'll talk after you've had some time to rest.
Look at the baby growing up.
You likely need sleep, and I need some time to... I need some time.
Oh, okay. I don't get to do anything in my apartment, I just go to bed. I was gonna try and talk to my plant more, but I guess that ship sailed. Oh, I have to hit the button. Oops. Hey, finally the next day.
Good morning. I trust you slept well.
Sure, how about you?
I had ample time to recharge my internal batteries.
Yay! That's not what I meant.
It is upsetting that Hayden is gone. But life for the rest of us goes on, yes?
Yeah?
We still have a mystery to unravel, and I will waste no further processing time over something I cannot reverse.
You need more than like 8 hours to overcome the grief and loss of a loved one? Okay.
There is no point.
Uh,
Now that we are both refreshed, I feel it wouldn't hurt to recap our progress and determine if any changes should be made based on our successes and failures. Let's talk about how things are going so far.
the recap you all wanted.
Since your journalistic efforts are a big part of why I originally recruited you, we can start there.
Alright.
Your inquiring mind has been a huge boost in our journey thus far. As a ROM, I can't talk to people as intently as you, so I must say I'm quite grateful for your skills in that regard.
I'm glad that I am a fleshy meatbag that people will talk to.
You're diligent in your day-to-day work as well, which further grounds my hope in you. Beyond journalistic persistence, let's take a look at how we've performed in other responsibilities. Specifically, our choices in overcoming obstacles.
Okay, I feel like I'm at a parent-teacher conference or something. Like my entire, like this is just a recap of like my past my performance throughout the game thus far. Like, what? Okay.
Our first major hurdle proved challenging, but we made use of our surroundings and found a creative avenue.
Okay.
Furthermore, I am pleased with your utilization of non-violent methods. Eliminating any excessive risk should allow us to move swiftly. Finally, I was quite impressed by your ability to adapt on the fly, as they say, and perform so well when thrust into a sudden situation. Lastly, I'd like to discuss how we're getting along with our companions and allies along the way. It's important.
Okay.
I was very impressed with your negotiation abilities with those kids. We got our data cache, and they went on their way, and hopefully learned a lesson too.
And hopefully had a less shitty date afterwards.
Jess is a bit of a harder read, but she did agree to help us out in a big way. As long as her brash nature doesn't tempt you to lash out, I think things will go smoothly.
What? When did I lash out at Jess? Ever. Under any circumstances. Okay, whatever.
Detective Rivers was good to involve as well, and I can tell you enjoy having a familiar face around.
Thanks.
She could prove to be our greatest aid, as long as we make it worth her time. No funny business. Tomcat seems to genuinely care for our cause, and I have no trouble with letting their expertise guide us.
I appreciate this little, like, recap of how I'm doing with everyone. Like, I guess it's kind of nice if you want to change course or something, but it's still just kind of like, what is even happening here?
Out of everyone else, they seem to be easiest to get along with, too. And finally, you and I. I must say, we have worked together better than I ever expected. I hope you feel the same.
You are my child at this point, Turing.
I feel confident in our combined ability, and I enjoy your company as well. Please, continue showing me around the city as we continue our search. Unfortunately, we've just about run out of leads. Perhaps Tomcat was able to find something of use in Parallax's network while they were inside.
What? You don't have any ideas? Fuck you, game. I'm sure they did.
I hope so, but I feel a little bad for relying on them as much as we do. Always going so far for Hayden. They must have been close. Oh, speaking of them, Incoming call from Tomcat.
Is my apartment about to get bombed?
Forwarding video and audio.
Thank you. Turning.
Morning.
Nope, okay. I think they're, well, they're grieving, but...
Turin, how you been doing, hon?
I'm fine, Tomcat. Thank you for your concern.
Well, okay. Just say the word if I can help out in any way. You hear?
Of course. In fact, I was hoping you might have a lead for us to start working at. Otherwise, we're down to canvassing Hayden's address book and seeing if any of his contacts have an idea about who might have had a desire to target him. But that's just fishing in the dark.
Well, I pulled a fair amount of data from the Parallax servers before they managed to kick me out, but it'll take me a while to go through it. A lot of it's unrelated. TPS reports, maintenance logs, juicy meat for other corporations, but about as useful as dirt to us.
Dirt is useful! You plant flowers in
It'll take me
dirt.
a while to decrypt all of Hayden's files, but maybe we'll find something there. So, no, I don't have as much as a whiff of a trail on who's behind this.
Well, I mean...
Though, I recently got a strange request from a friend of a friend. Someone's been messing with the articles of a news organization named Augmented Eye. It seems like the network security head there's asking around for cybercrackers to help figure out how their reports are getting changed. The original files on their servers are untouched. In their system, everything looks peachy keen. But when you view the site from the outside of the network, things are changed up.
Sorry, I had to cough again.
A word here, phrase there. It's subtle, but often has a big impact on the article's tone. Someone with deep access to Parallax's meshnet is changing what's being shown. I ain't sure if it's related, but maybe y'all can head down to the main KCOB offices and try talking to the gal that runs Augmented Eye. Her name is Zen.
Okay, what articles are being changed and what are they saying? That's probably the important place to start.
I ain't got the time or the desire to stick my nose that far out for a stranger, but it seems like your kind of deal.
It does seem to be a bit of a stretch. But if we have to wait for you to work on the data we've collected anyway...
Yeah, let's fucking side quest it up in this bitch. We'd be happy to look into it.
Alright, I'll pass the word along that you'll be in sometime today to stick your noses in.
Well, it's side questing on a very linear game, but yeah, this is fine.
And I'll send y'all word as soon as I get anything worth hunting down.
Excellent. Thank you, Tomcat. We are grateful for your continued assistance.
Yay.
No problem, Turin. Are you sure you're gonna be okay? Maybe you should take a little more time. You've been through some shit in the past few days.
I said I was fine. Thank you for your concern, but I am fine.
You are not fine.
I have already handled the reality of Hayden's death. It's time to move on with the investigation.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on you. I'm just worried. So, I'm here if you need anything.
Understood. I apologize for my tone, Tomcat. We'll be in touch.
One sec. Ugh. Sorry, I don't know why I'm coughing so much.
Alright, later, Turin.
I mean, of course, the obvious answer is I'm dying slowly but surely.
Okay,
just-
we have a lead, however tenuous. I've highlighted the COS IO Corp office building on your map.
Sorry, I was waiting for Turing to finish. That was a joke. I'm not actually, like, sick or dying. I mean, all humans are slowly dying is what I was going for. Anyway.
Also, while we were talking to Tomcat, I received an email from Dr. Fairlight.
Oh. Oh, he's probably... Oh. That weather ROM we broke probably came through back to him.
Displaying.
Oops.
Greetings. I hope you'll forgive me for a voice-only message, but I'm undergoing my treatments and would not call myself presentable for a video call. Still, I wanted to inform you of an idea I had while looking into our mutual acquaintance's disappearance. I haven't had any luck with my contacts inside Parallax, but I was reminded of an old friend by the name of Melody Flores, who may know more about the nature of Hayden's research. She's the owner of Flower Cybernetics, and Hayden has been known to work closely with them on projects involving the intersection of Parallax's systems and the implants that Flower designs. Melody and I are no longer on speaking terms, so I'm afraid I can't introduce you. But perhaps the intrigue of Hayden's little robot will get you entry into her home. I hope this lead serves you well. If you need anything else from me, I will be in and out of the hospital room where we met for the next few days. I will send word if I have any other insights or discoveries. Yours, Dr. Yannick Fairlight.
P.S. Why the fuck did I get a call from this magical girl about a weather ROM acting up?
Interesting.
Nope.
I had no knowledge of Hayden ever working with Flower Cybernetics, but now I'm starting to understand just how little I really knew about his research.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe this Melody can reveal more about the purposes of my construction.
Maybe Hayden just wanted a robot child.
Hayden must have kept my development secret for a reason.
I mean, yeah, the climate seems pretty hostile to the thought of artificial intelligence, but yeah, that's what's fine.
Hopefully we can talk our way in. I have highlighted Melody's home on your map.
Melody's mansion.
Okay, we can now either follow Tomcat's lead to KCOB, or Fairlight's lead to Melody's home. Up to you where to go first.
Okay, I guess I can go to both, which is good.
Tomcat's led us in the right direction so far, but Fairlight has resources and his tip might end up being more relevant.
It's true.
It depends on what you want our focus to be on in terms of tracking Hayden's trail. Should we follow the media or the tech? It's fitting. They're the two factors that make Neo-SF so unique and wonderful.
Okay.
If we explore them both to the fullest, there's no way we won't be closer to the answer.
Truth will be uncertain and possibly more damaging, but here we go. Woo! Yep, I mean, I'd prefer to have the whole view of something even if it's not fun. Tuck. Looks like you're gonna be just fine after all. Yay. Botanist. Oh, I got an achievement. Interesting. Huh. Still don't think we can fix this thing. Let's look at the map. Cross Iocorp or Flower Mansion? Anyone on chat have any thoughts on which we should go to? I do think Flower Mansion and following the tech, excuse me, I'm stretching. Seems like a more I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I looked over at like the little home screen and there's just Turing's face just like popping up from the bottom edge and it's great. Alright, yeah, leave it up to me. Yeah, I feel like following the tech seems like the more straightforward approach. The media connection is pretty tenuous and hasn't seemed to come into play very much. I feel like following the tech would give us the why, following the media would give us more the who. You know? Why as in, like, why was Hayden killed versus who killed Hayden. So I think I'm gonna go to Flower Mansion, and see, what we can see. Words. Something wrong?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was wool gathering.
What?
I see we've arrived at the Melody Flores residence. It's quite impressive,
Wool gathering?
but that's to be expected, considering that she is still the majority owner of the Flower Cybernetics Group, despite retiring from day-to-day operations at the company. I wonder how she and Hayden first began working together.
Okay, I'm pretty sure this isn't actually what it is, but I really hope that, like, the Flowers prosthetics group is about making, like, really cute pastel prosthetics.
Sorry, back on task.
I feel like that would be just really cool.
Is there anything you'd like to know before we head inside?
Give me a rundown of Flower Cybernetics.
Flower Cybernetics was established in the early 2000s by Melody's mother, Antonella.
Okay.
It started out developing cutting-edge medical tech, including advanced prosthesis and nanoparticle diagnostic and treatment technologies. They were vastly successful when they perfected the first synthetic nerve mesh, allowing direct connection and control between the nervous system and a cybernetic prosthesis. The majority of their early projects were defense technologies for the American military, developing ruggedized military prosthesis for use on injured soldiers, and then eventually electively for special forces. This research line culminated in the development of brain-controlled androids as shock troops, long since barred by international law. Melody took over the company from her aging mother, and she fought against developing further military hardware from that point on. She pushed the company to use the BCA technology for the company's original goals of medical advancement, as well as developing the first direct link virtual reality implants.
Okay, so my hope of, like, cute pastel prosthetics, got derailed by war crimes. So, I'm a little disappointed.
The company is largely successful on a global scale, despite continued legislative movement against extensive cybernetic use, especially brain implants.
What can you tell me about Melody?
Not a whole lot.
Yeah, it's I feel like cyberpunk games are always going to kind of feel similar to one another. Not like a 1-to-1 ratio, but Deus Ex does a lot of I have Deus Ex. I should stream that at some point. I will stream that at some point because I'm going down alphabetically. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Why did I make that jingle? Anyway, Deus Ex talks a lot about cybernetic implants and that sort of, like, how far before can we cybernize ourselves? Is that the word? How far before we are no longer human? Here, the focus is on hybridization and gene splicing, but it feels like cybernetics are starting to creep in as an issue, and so there's a lot of different sides where it's like, how far before we are no longer human? And my response is, we are always going to be human, but now we're going to be human with kick-ass robot arms and kitty ears. Which I feel like is the only correct response to have. If I could splice my genes to give me very cute fluffy kitty ears, I would do it in a heartbeat, because that sounds rad as hell. it doesn't change who I am as a human being. I just have kitty ears now. Right. I definitely get what you mean. The whole point of cybernetics almost felt like the underlying premise of human revolution. Gene splicing sounds interesting. It does. Especially because in this game, it's canon that gene splicing has fixed a lot of health issues that people had. Last session, Jess was talking about how she had like incurable skin cancer, and had to get radical gene splicing therapy to live, basically. And so it's sort of one of those things where it's like, well, how far before we're no longer human? And I'm like, this technology is literally saving lives. But it's always the argument of, well, purity of humanity is more important than the disabled living. And I'm like, go and fuck yourself. Because that's kind of what it boils down to, is the issue is a lot of people are like, well, how long before we're not human? And I'm like, you already treat people who are completely human but have disabilities as non-human. So your definition of human is able-bodied, neurotypical, and very often white, and straight, and cisgendered, and heteronormative. So the argument for that always seems to fall flat for me, because there's so often if you're taking the argument seriously, people who are like really going after is like, well, how much until we're not human anymore? And it's like, well, we don't have gene splicing, and we don't have really cybernetics the way that we do in games, and we already have the issue of debating over who is really human. And so it's like, this argument is going to come up constantly, and it feels very stupid to me, because it's like, we're already having that argument now when we don't have this technology that is hypothetical and we're so afraid of. Because it's like, you already treat people like who have it kind of made me want to play Mankind Divided now. I think I have that. I'll probably play it later. It's in D, so we might get to it sooner. Maybe I'll bounce back and forth between like the beginning and end of my Steam library, so I don't just like 6 years from now I still haven't made it into the W's or something. But yeah, as I was saying, it's like, that's always my problem with the argument is again, it's like, it always seems to come from, you only get to be human if you are, I don't know if I have you added on Steam. I'll check in a bit. It's always the argument of, who do we consider to be human now without these technologies? Because that is still an argument that we're having. So I always feel like it's, people being like, oh, but it's like, you seem like, to me it reads as pure or neurotypical. Yeah, we're already having that argument now, and it always reads as I don't really put stock in no, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say, whenever the argument comes up, I'm always going to be in favor of, you are human no matter how much you splice your genome or add prosthetics. You're just a human with really cool prosthetics and gene splicing. Like, you are still shackled to the history of humanity like the rest of us, but you get to have some things that might make it easier on you. Like, if gene splicing got rid of, like, my depression and ADHD and anxiety, I would absolutely do it in a heartbeat and not look back. And there's a lot of people where anyway, so that's just kind of my terribly spoken, jumbled take on this whole argument. Is, I don't, like, my answer is always going to be, you can splice your genes as much as you like, and I'm still going to consider you a human being. Because I'm well aware of how, even without that technology, there are people who like pure 100% no gene splicing, no prosthetics or cybernetic augmentations now are not considered human because of bigotry. And so the argument is just kind of like pointless to me, because it's like there is like you're not actually asking this. It never seems to come from a philosophical standpoint. It always seems to come from a standpoint of underlying bigotry. And I guess there could be a philosophical argument about it, but so rarely does it seem to actually take into consideration that right now, without that technology, we don't consider certain people human because of bigotry. Anyway, I hope any of that made sense. I'm gonna keep going with the game. Sorry.
She's largely private, in contrast to her mother's penchant for courting a media circus. Several biographies of former Flower executives show her as intensely passionate about demilitarizing the company to the point of absolute viciousness in the boardroom.
Aw, thanks. Sorry, itchy. Okay, well, it seems like...
But it's been a long time since her days of fighting for the company, and she's since stepped away from the helm.
Because it demilitarized, or...?
There's talk that she's lost her spine in her old age, but...
Oh! I'm sorry. It took me a hot second to realize that spine was like a metaphorical spine, as opposed to she got old and just literally lost her spine, like it fell out of her body, and she can't find it. Jesus. Okay, so, or, you know, maybe, you know, there's, yeah. Because we were talking about, like, prosthetics and body parts, and so I was like, oh yeah, prosthetic spine, and she just lost it. She just got, like her, you know, her legs and hips are fine, or walk, walk everywhere, and then she's just, like, folded over backwards, dragging along behind her on the ground. Just gene splice some spine back into you. Okay.
Well, I take that with a grain of salt.
Okay, like, just replace the spine.
She may have retreated from the corporate battlefield, but you don't change the entire direction of a company as large as Flower if you're a quitter.
Okay, so I guess the company did get demilitarized.
Stay on your toes.
So I was like, oh, she lost her spine. Maybe she just achieved what she wanted, and now she's, like, taking a break. She's having a nap. Didn't Yannick say he and Melody had a falling out?
He did, and I can't shine much light on that.
Not in public about it?
I know that System 1 worked with Flower to help develop the first operating systems for the Direct Link virtual reality implants, so perhaps it happened during that time.
Fair enough.
Also, Flower eventually went with a different company for future models of the implant, but there was never any public talk of a personal falling out between the heads of the companies.
Why do I have to stretch so much recently? Jeepers. Ugh. And yes, that was a noise of stretching, not like being stabbed as my soul escapes my body or something. Apologies if distracting, but I realize I've never finished playing the original Deus Ex. I made it all the way through once. It is an old-ass game, and it's difficult to get through. And it is so long, and there's so much reading. But it was really interesting. I'm pretty sure I made it all the way through once. I do plan on playing it again. Is it on Steam? Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. Maybe I'll skip ahead and play some Deus Ex after this. It's definitely very old and very janky. And I remember, yeah, I played it on this computer at some point. I don't remember, within the last couple of years, I'm sure. I liked it a lot. It was very interesting. I always choose stealth and sniper rifles because I'm really absolutely crap at Twitch. Not Twitch, the platform Twitch, as in shooting people in the head. Well, so I usually prefer to like take people out stealthily so they don't notice me because it makes it easier. But I managed to get through the game that way. It was a long time ago. I was really proud that I managed to get it all the way to the end though, because it felt like one of those classics, and it felt like everyone remembered the first few hours of it, and then everything else just kind of, people were like, yeah, I played, and then just kind of stopped and did something else, and I'm like, but I played through to the end once, and I barely remember it. I remember the first few hours of it very clearly. Malkavian mod? I have not heard of that. But yes, it's... I will play it again, and I'll try and get all the way through it, though might have to skip around. I know I played through the Deus Ex sequel as well. I don't know if I have the third one. Is it the third one? No, it was like... There was a trilogy. I enjoyed Human Revolution to a point where I wanted to experience it, just never got through it. Invisible? Yeah? There was one of the new ones, I think one of the new ones I got through all the way to the end. I don't know if I played the other one after that. There were 3. I feel like it was a trilogy. I don't think I got through those, the last 2. No. Oh, that's right. There is... Human Revolution is the one that I got through. Invisible War, I vaguely remember watching my brother play. It was like some early 20s, punk guy with like the douchiest hairstyle imaginable. Like early 2000s douchey hairstyle. I vaguely remember it. I don't think I ever played it through though. I think so. One second, I'm gonna go check my Steam library. Deus, where is it? Deus Ex. Oh, I do have Invisible. Oh, yeah, okay. That is exactly the guy I was thinking of. Yeah, so I played, oh, the last time I played was in 2015. Shit. Okay, I need to play this again at some point. Okay, so I do have, Deus Ex Game of the Year Edition, Invisible War, and Human Revolution. So I'm missing Mankind Divided. Which I'm very tempted to get, but I probably ought not to. Until I've played through the other ones. Oh, but I have to play through Invisible War then. Fuck. Okay, we'll get to that later. For now, we're gonna keep playing, 2064. What were we talking about? Flower eventually went with a different company for future models of the implant, but there was never any public talk of a personal falling out between the heads of the companies. Okay.
I'll scrape the mesh for more rumors, but they'll only be that, rumors.
Yeah, well, rumors are better than nothing.
I can do my best to parse fact from fiction, but it blurs too much for me to be sure what's real.
Yeah, I'll set up, I'll do some poking around and I'll set it up so I can play the original Deus Ex, for streaming at some point. Let's go ahead and head in.
No time like the present, then.
Bear statue. Small-scale bear statues guard the entrance to the mansion.
They'd look cuter if they had little outfits on.
Oh, Turing. Windows line the front of the house and broadcast the hints of an expertly designed den inside. It's framed with light blue curtains that probably cost more than your rent. Ow! Each! Ow!
These tall shrubs could line the estate of a Victorian duke. They're that stuffily pleasant to look at.
Wow. Alright then. What happens if I look at all of the plants? They have the stale beauty that can only come from the care of obligated professionals. Wow. It's likely they have ridiculous maintenance routines as well. Like, only being watered every Friday for exactly 38 seconds. No more, no less.
These tall shrubs could line the estate of a Victorian duke. They're that stuffily pleasant to look at.
What happens if I talk to them? No, I can't. Touch the plant.
These evergreens are perfectly sculpted. Be careful not to wreck the mold if you touch.
Touch, 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 touch. I think I've tried touching enough plants. Look at... This looks like the buzzer for an apartment complex. She needs one of these just for that one house. Rich people, man. Can I touch the... The anguished cry of the window cleaner bellows in your soul as you smudge one of the paints. I feel like somebody worked in cleaning. That fingerprint could become incriminating if this trip goes dark. Oh well. Oops. If I...
Don't treat the junipers like arbor vitae.
What? I'm gonna touch all of them now.
Don't you know the difference between a shrub and a bush?
No. Alright. Probably isn't worth the risk of Turing exploding. Okay! Okay, I won't touch them anymore. Look at the mansion door. 2 dark wooden doors make up the mansion's entranceway. A small foyer can be seen through the mottled glass. Alright, we're going to ring the doorbell. What the fuck? Hi! Is Melody home?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Oh, I have no guess. Yep, that's there. I don't think that's Melody, but that is a whole ass bear.
Mine says we can go in. Should we?
Oh, I'm gonna.
Oh, wow. Swanky.
Swanky?
What? I have been trying to increase my usage of colloquialisms.
Alright, fair enough.
Is swanky too out of date?
I have no idea.
It's certainly before my time.
That's a whole ass lady right there.
Oh, Ms. Flores! Excuse us for the intrusion. My name is Turing, and...
Oh, I know who you are.
This is like... What the hell is happening on this screen up here? Anyway. This is the kind of woman who, like, appears... Like, the police come and knock on her door and she's wearing, like, that big, you know, semi-sheer, pink robe, and they're like, you know, ma'am, your husband has mysteriously, disappeared, or is, like, met with some, unfortunate, consequences. And she's like, oh my goodness, please excuse me for one moment. And goes upstairs, come back downstairs in, like, the same robe, except it's black with, like, lined pink fur, and she, like, drapes herself across the couch, like, please go on, officer. I think it's the news. Maybe they're, like, showing a fight. I don't know what that is. Anyway.
Hey, I can explain. I know you don't like Dr. Fairlight very much, but I assure you there's a situation.
That or they're fucking up there. Oh yeah, this is someone who never left the game or hierarchy to begin with. Yeah.
Fairlight. I didn't realize Hayden's research had become a charity case.
What?
Though I suppose little boy Yannick will throw money at anything that raises his profile on the mesh.
I love how there's like a subtle echo going on under her voice. Also, the way she talks about it is sort of like she and Yannick had a passionate love affair that he then disappointed, and now she's just like, oh, that piece of garbage, never heard of him.
Wait, you know Hayden? Also, we actually only just met Dr. Fairlight yesterday.
Oh, that's too bad. Now Pat won't have to eat you.
Okay. She just has a whole ass bear.
What?
Though I'm not sure your gears would have been good for his digestion.
Actually, madam, I'm not comprised of gears.
Well, either way, he's on a diet. This philosophy is how I lead my life. Sometimes you eat the bear, and sometimes the bear, well, he eats you. Do you understand?
Not really.
Look, I don't have all day to entertain you, Turing, nor your new friend. Not even for Hayden.
It's Sophia Russia, see, Bear eats you. Wait.
You don't have time to waste if you're going to find him either.
Right.
Oops. Planter. A large climate-controlled globe towers in the lounge. It has some lively in-season plants inside. I'm gonna try touching more things. The planter box looks impossible to open, but rubbing the outside does produce a nice squeaky plastic on furniture sound. The most regal-looking robotic cat in the world sits prim and proper on the fainting chair. Touch the cat. You give the cat a pet. The name on her collar says Lily. Talk to Lily. It looks remarkably bored at all attempts at conversation. Pat.
Melody keeps unusual company.
Pat is a whole-ass bear.
Ursus maritimus, if I'm not mistaken. That might be why the temperature controls are set so low in here.
Yeah, definitely a polar bear.
I wasn't aware you knew the scientific name of the species.
I don't...
Ooh, has my interest in proper nomenclature started to rub off on you?
He's a white bear, Turing. What else could he be?
Plenty. Have you heard of a Kermode bear, also known as a spirit bear? Or he could be a white-phased black bear, or even a Pisley.
Could be albino.
But he's not. It's a polar bear.
Okay, I'm gonna touch the bear. Pat is Melody's butler, not yours. He will offer services when and only when his mistress permits. So, Gur and stuff? Rom. And, oh lordy. Oh, a Rosie 8935 unit. From the emblem on its side. It sits patiently near Pat in a sort of ambient sleep mode, playing light instrumental music. Like the high-stakes socialite relationships it monitors, the Rosie is extremely delicate. Rosie units are designed to remain in sleep mode until reactivated only by its owner's voice. Okay. Strawberries. The biggest strawberries you have ever seen are assembled in a china bowl on the coffee table. Have I eaten anything this entire game? They look too good to eat. That might be the point. What the fuck is the... okay, whatever. A thin string of steam escapes the delicate spout. The handling of the teapot is strictly the domain of the host's servants, at least in homes of this class. Talk to teapot. The teapot itself is busy, but the computerized pot holder takes note of your requested temperature change. Turn that off. Door. A pair of wide window doors are set open in the back of the room, leading to a plush garden. Can one truly use an open door? Alright, fuck you. The doors look open to conversation. Haha, jokes. A huge marble fountain adorns the courtyard. Its pleasant bubbly sound can just barely be heard over the TV and outdoor ambience. Okay, so, looking at a scene like this, there's a fountain out in the backyard, and I can look at it, but I can also touch it. You have no coins to throw in, no wishes for you. So what I like to imagine, and this turns this from like cyberpunk to like low-key horror, is my character just comes into the room and just stands there stock still, staring at everyone and barely speaking, and then without moving, to touch everything, my arms just like stretch out awkwardly and to like touch things, and then come back. And I just imagine like this woman and her bear watching as I just kind of like look around at everything and then like focusing on the fountain and then reach out and standing still, stretch my arm out through the doors to like pat the fountain and then bring my arm back and act like nothing happened. So I imagine just all these people staring at me like, maybe if I don't say anything, she will never do that again. Which I think is the single greatest visual I will ever have for any game. A plush purple fainting chair dominates the room. This chair keeps a strict 1-to-1 human to animal ratio. This chair is for recovering from social exhaustion. The conversation chairs are in the tea room. I can use Melody. Melody Flores, nanomachine heiress and the owner of the Flower Cybernetics Group. Try again when you have a trust fund or hold a majority of a Fortune 500 company. Alright, that's fair.
If you were one of Fairlight's worker bees, you wouldn't have made it through the door. So why are you here to badger me about poor Hayden?
You have me at a disadvantage, Ms. Flores. You seem far ahead of us on this matter.
Just call me Melody, darling. And of course. But I'll share a secret or two with you.
I have so many questions. Do you know what's happened to Hayden?
I wish I didn't. Maybe you don't want to either.
Please, Melody, any information you might have. We haven't had access to any of his research notes and couldn't track down any collaborators he may have been working with. Perhaps if we know more, we might be able to nail down a solid motive.
Well, I don't know if I can speculate on that, beyond the usual corporate infighting. Not that Parallax is known for that, of course. We had been catching up recently, and he mentioned feelings of being watched. He started to worry he had been discussing your development with the wrong people. When he stopped returning my calls, and now that you've shown up with a total stranger, it becomes clear what happened.
I see. Can you tell us anything else about his disappearance?
Oh, I'm afraid not, dear. I've been around long enough to know what's coincidence and what isn't.
We were hoping you might be able to shine some light on my origins. Fairlight mentioned that you had worked with Hayden in the past.
I see Hayden didn't neglect curiosity in your personality makeup. Well, you and I haven't properly met, but considering how often Hayden badgered me for design schematics of Flower's latest neural implants, I might as well be your aunt?
Oh, I thought she was about to say mother, and I was about to be like, I will fight you in the Thunderdome, woman!
We'll go with that. I wouldn't mind being an aunt, even to a blue-headed robot.
I'm touched, Melody.
Please do not insult my child. I don't care if you have a whole goddamn bear as your butler. I will strangle you, lady.
Well then, I'm willing to answer your questions. For now.
Right. How did you help Hayden with Turing?
Indeed, I don't see the connection between your company and Hayden's research into machine sapience.
Oh, Hayden wasn't researching machine sapiens. At least not primarily.
Oh, what?
Not to diminish the importance of your creation, Turing, but it's best you know the truth.
Oh dear.
Hayden is mainly interested in developing a way to transfer human consciousness into a machine matrix.
Wait. Is Turing a human being? I mean, like, I'm gonna go ahead and say Turing is sentient, but is Turing, like... Did Hayden put a human being into Turing's body? Like, is that what happened? I have no idea. We'll find out.
You can see why neural implants would obviously be an integral part of that.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Oh, Hayden wasn't invested in Turing's development? Oh no. Oh, hi Lemon Cakes. No, oh, well, it's, I mean, kinda. Alright, we've been streaming for about an hour and 40 minutes or so, but hey, I spent a really long time babbling about the whole, when are we not humans anymore? Yes, it's a polar bear. Oh yeah, this is probably a weird fucking image to come into. Yeah, that's a whole ass bear. His name's Pat. He's a butler. No, we're not really given any explanation for it. He's just there. The cat is a robot, by the way. Yeah, we've been playing. We got through all of chapter 2. Hayden is dead. We have video footage of them just like straight up executing him in the hallway of in front of his apartment. So now we're going to on the investigation for the True. It's going swimmingly. We've met a wealthy widower who I don't know if she's ever been married, but she really screams widower to me. But yeah, we went through a bunch of stuff. I babbled for a really long time about the whole question of like, with gene splicing and cybernetics, when do we go too far and when do we lose the sense of humanity? And, my argument to that is we don't have gene splicing or cybernetic augmentation now, and we're still having a bunch of people being like, well, these people aren't actually human. So it's like, I don't have a lot of sympathy for that argument. Anyway, now we're talking to Turing's aunt-ish, maybe? She's the lady in red there. She helped Hayden with stuff, and we found out that Hayden didn't actually care about artificial sentience. He was looking to download human brains into robotic bodies. So that's where we're at now. How would Turing's development help with digitizing the human mind?
The concept of transferring the human mind into a computer has been an attractive goal for decades.
If you say so.
Functional immortality is a powerful lure.
This voice actress, damn.
The brain is an immensely complicated machine, and even though we know the right buttons to push to make pictures show up, we still can't replicate the entire thing as a technological construct.
Who the fuck said this woman doesn't have a spine anymore? This woman exudes spine from every orifice.
Even with the virtual reality implants, we're really just relying on the brain's ability to make sense of nonsensical signals. So Hayden decided the best way to make a machine more like the human brain would be to work in the opposite direction. Instead of mimicking how the human brain worked, he started writing code that mimicked the functioning of the human mind. Think of it like convergent evolution. Two species adapt in similar ways, but on completely different continents.
I'm not sure how. She's like, oh, instead of trying to get the machine to mimic the human mind, he started writing code instead of getting it to mimic the human brain, he started writing code to get it to mimic the human mind. And it's like, I'm not entirely clear on how those two things are different, but I'm willing to roll with it.
Hayden is a crack programmer when it comes to information collating. It's why Parallax hired him when they did. So he wrote a bunch of self-modifying learning algorithms that were, frankly, baffling, and let them loose.
Okay.
Poke and prod them here and there to make sure they value the same things humans do. And we eventually end up with you, Turing.
Interesting. Hayden never revealed any of this to me.
I imagine he's pretty tight-lipped.
Yeah,
You were the first prototype he considered a real success, and he was afraid of contaminating your development before he had a chance to make good observations.
Okay, Turing is still my child. Hayden can go suck a dick. He's dead now, but still. No, that's suck a dick. I don't really. It's not like that's a punishment. He can go suck a cactus. Can you elaborate on your involvement?
Phew, if you can even call it involvement. It's a small city. And if you're in the tech sector, you are never more than 2 degrees removed from anyone else.
Yeah, well.
When he started looking into this pet project of his, he came right up to my door and demanded access to the research logs behind our earlier implants.
Hayden, what the fuck? Just came up to this lady and demanded information from her? What the hell? Also, regardless of what truth we find out, Turing is still our child. Like, that's not going to change. So, the truth can hurt as much as it likes, and we are still gonna love Turing.
Cheeky, but it was impactful and disruptive, as they like to say around here. I couldn't care less about Flowers' patents anymore, so I gave him what he wanted, just to see what he would do.
And what did he do?
I'm frankly more impressed than I expected I would be, but don't tell him that.
Oh, definitely won't.
Don't worry.
Remember, all of this conversation is happening with the context that, Hayden is definitely dead. Like, we know he's dead, and we're not telling anyone so that we can keep some information to keep the upper hand. So this is an extremely unpleasant conversation.
I won't.
Yep.
Oh, that was a compliment, dear.
Hayden wasn't invested in Turing's development?
I didn't say that. Hayden was quite interested in Turing, even if he is just a step to further research.
Oh, I guess Turing's pronouns are he. I've been going with they.
In fact, he was preparing to publish his findings involving Turing, and I know it's going to make one heck of a splash in the scientific community. See, the most impressive part about you, Turing, is that you're surprisingly stock.
Stock?
I assure you, Melody, my construction involves only the latest and greatest in ROM prototype technology.
Exactly. You're not off the shelf, but you're still just a souped-up ROM, more or less like every other one out there. Your personality algorithms are impressive, but they don't require some new space-age technology to work.
Okay, we need to go take, like, Turing shopping after this and get them the big floppy hat that they wanted and just...
Hayden is going to propose that human consciousness transference does not require special brain-like hardware architecture,
Yeah!
but merely the right software wrapper to interface with the hardware.
Yeah, it's like, Jesus. I don't think so. So I think it's more of, they have, like, the hardware capability. They've just now written the program that can actually, run it. Well, and I don't think I think it kind of feels like Turing being AI is an accident from what she's saying. Like, they didn't actually care to examine that. And Turing's only an AI because, Hayden was specifically trying to come up with software that would transfer human consciousness So when you put that software into action without having a human consciousness, you get something that either is or looks a lot like AI. I think. Either way, this is not a fun conversation to be having, and I want to take my robot child home.
Much like how you function.
I suppose that is correct. Still, my personality matrices do take up substantial amounts of my processing power. Wouldn't custom hardware have capabilities that better serve such a demanding specialized task?
Sure, there's still plenty of reason in trying to make a computer that works just like a human brain. Efficiency is an important part of that. But if Hayden can emulate the human mind in existing technology, it means we can start the immortality now, rather than waiting for hardware to catch up with Hayden's software. Frankly, I'm not terribly interested in living forever, but there's more than enough people who are.
I feel like immortality is... I have mixed feelings on immortality. I feel like on Earth... Well, yeah. Well, it's kind of like... There are certain people... Like, I don't know if I would want to live forever. Because I would have... Well, I don't know. If I could live forever, I assume I'd have the technology or ability to not live in the horrible brain meat that I live in. So living forever, if I could fix my depression or ADHD, could be really good. But I don't know if I would want to do it. But having that option... But again, it's like, the problem I have is if we made immortality available for everyone on Earth, that would suck. And that would be untenable. Because Earth is a finite space, and it would mean that we would have to... Everything would be exponentially growing because we wouldn't have deaths to balance out new births. And it would also create a really unbalanced caste system where people who have been alive longer have had more time to gather resources that are finite because we all live on one planet, which starves out the younger or the newer immortals. If we had access to, like, all of space, I would not give a single fuck, because it's basically infinite space, infinite resources, infinite room to grow and develop and spread. That, at that point, I feel like immortality would be fine in its own way. There would still be issues, but it wouldn't be... The issue of logistics and immortality wouldn't be a problem. And at that point, that would let us explore cultural consequences of immortality, as opposed to logistic consequences of immortality. Does that make sense? I hope. I feel like we would have... But again, it's like, if we became immortal, I feel like we'd have enough... We'd have technology to an extent that we could move beyond our planet, but we would need to... If we were to, like, to come up with immortality, it'd probably be only available to the upper class as well. Yeah. That's the other issue, is... What would the immortality technology look like? Who would get to become immortal? And what would the immortality look... And, you know, what would immortality look like? Is it just you don't... Do you still age? Do you still get sick? Yeah, or horrifyingly... Yeah, because then it's like, now you... It's things like, what does immortality look like? Is it just old age? Can you still get sick? Can you still, like, starve to death? Can you still be, like, shot or stabbed to death? Or is it immortal as in you are constantly regenerating your own body? Yeah. That's the other thing is, with capitalism, if you have immortality, then you have a slave caste who cannot die, which means you can have horrible human rights violations forced upon them. The other side of that is when you have an immortal slave labor force, if they rise up against you, they don't have to worry about death anymore. So that it's like that would be an issue, but it also feels like an issue that would either very swiftly solve itself, or would become a much more complicated issue as you try and find new ways of leverage against your slave labor. It's basically what would immortality look like, because if you make a kind of immortality where you can abuse someone and they won't die, pain and control become kind of your method of operation, I guess. Modus operandi. But if you still have to worry about them like starving to death or succumbing to, again, it's like, what does immortality look like? Can you still get sick? Can you still starve to death? Can you still get stabbed or beaten to death or crushed to death or whatever? What the conditions are of it change how you would treat the labor force. But again, there's a lot of problems that would crop up over immortality that would probably get very, very tangled and complicated very quickly, and also solve themselves very quickly. Because again, if your slave labor force is immortal, they don't necessarily have to worry about death or starvation when they rise up, or just cease to work for you. Like now in capitalism, it's like, you have to work for us because you need a roof over your head, because you need food, because you need all these utilities, or you're going to die. Well, if I'm immortal, it's not going to be pleasant, but I can still wait you out. Because I'm not going to die, I'm just going to be uncomfortable, and you're not going to have the labor that you need to profit. Yay! Philosophical ideas in the morning, and I'm throwing my voice out by talking too much. Heyo! Anyway, let's get back to the game.
Thank you for this, Melody.
I'm sorry, I forgot to mute my mic for that.
I understand so little of my origins.
Well, I'm sorry I don't know more of the specifics. Hayden kept me up to date on his progress, but only in the vaguest of ways. If you can hunt down his notes, I'm sure they'll tell you more.
Of course, we'll keep looking. Now, perhaps we could ask some other questions?
Sure.
What's the story between you and Fairlight?
Oh, hell, that old bastard and I have been flashing daggers at each other for the better part of 20 years.
Was it because you were ex-lovers?
I contracted out the software development for our first-gen direct link VR neural implants to System 1. Things were going great, but after the first models sold like gangbusters, Yannick tried to get into bed with me. Literally.
I called it! I probably didn't call it exactly, but I still called it! I got class in 6 minutes, so I'm gonna be... Yeah, go for it. Have a good class. I'm probably gonna wrap up the stream in a little bit here, because it's been running for close to 2 hours now. I'm gonna try and get through this conversation with Melody, though, and then find a stopping point.
I turned him down. Very politely, I might add. And then, suddenly, all of the cooperation between our companies dried up.
Wow, Yannick is a fuckboy.
We've been at it back and forth ever since. I'd be damned careful about trusting him if I were you.
Hey!
He's a snake, and he'll do anything he can to get what he wants. Still, I suppose if he tried again now, I might not turn him down.
What? No! Don't sleep with fuckboys!
It would be fun to needle him about me still having my own company when he doesn't have his.
Okay, that's... Alright, that's fair. I think that's everything we need to know.
Good. I can get back to my retirement.
Up.
Thank you for your time, Melody. We'll be in touch later.
Oh, one more piece of information for you, if you'd like it.
Sure.
I've got the contact info for a Vincent Mensa, who I think might be of help to you.
I'm sorry, Mensa, like the group Mensa? That's subtle, or
Vincent was working
incidental.
more closely with Hayden inside Parallax, mostly on his company-approved research on data collating algorithms for the mesh. I'll send him a message and ask him to meet you somewhere. He owes me a favor anyway, and might be able to give you some more information on anything else Hayden may have been working on.
That would be fantastic, Melody. Perhaps Golden Gate Park?
Be careful, Turing. I don't like Fairlight's stench all over this scenario. Don't show him too many of your cards.
Cards? This euphemism is unfamiliar to me.
Don't tell him anything if you can. Fairlight is more dangerous the more he's informed.
I'm so glad someone is, validating my immediate suspicion of the man.
Thank you, Aunt Melody. Wish us luck.
Okay. I'm gonna leave. Okay. I guess this is a place to wrap up. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap up here. I'm gonna save. We found some big stuff. We didn't get very far because I spent a lot of time talking about philosophy, which I guess is good because that's what the game seems to be shooting for. And I'm glad y'all in the chat were talking about it with me because that was interesting and fun, even though my voice is like, why have you done this to me? I am interested to see where this goes. I think next time we will check out the media place that Tomcat suggested before we go chasing down Vincent Mensa. So, fun times. The friend we've been looking for is definitely dead, and now we're gonna go on a search for the truth, and already the truth has been like, haha, everything's awful. And I'm like, alright world, well fuck you, I still love my robot child. Fight me. And I do still love my robot child. Fight me. So maybe next time we'll see what other philosophical discussions are brought up as a result of the game. Or if it's the same kind of discussions, which I've already given my piece on, so I'll see if I can, like, find a quicker way to summarize it so when we get to it, and then to recap my thoughts on it, blah-de-blah-de-blah, and then we can keep going with the game and not spend 2 hours barely making any progress because I was rambling for a very long time of it. Anyway, thank you so much to everyone joining me, and hanging out to chat and talk philosophy and watch the game. I do have the Deus Ex games, so we'll be getting to those at some point. Let me check my Steam. Oh, well, I have a lot of games before we get down to that, but not terribly far. But we might skip around. Maybe we'll just see about knocking out the different Cyberpunk games all in one go. Though I've played a lot of Deus Ex, so maybe not, but we'll see. Maybe we'll take a break. For now, I think we're going to try and get through at least Chapter 3 before we try and move to another game for a break, so we'll see how many more sessions we take before we get through that. For now, again, as I said, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you all had a good time, and I hope you have a great day. I love you all dearly, and I'll see you next time. Bye!